Yeah, my main focus is all on co-living real estate investing. And if someone doesn't know what that is, it's really it's a model where you take a single family home and instead of renting it out to a whole family, you convert it to a room rental type property. And it does exactly what you just shared. It helps solve affordable housing. There's nuance to it. I think we'll talk about a few of those that you have to understand. Otherwise, it can be hell.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson. And today I'm joined by Sam Wegert, who's making some serious moves in real estate investing now for the last 15 years. Sam, welcome in, man. Glad to have you.
Brother, thank you so much, Mike, for having me. I'm super pumped for the show and just excited to share. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
I'm excited, man. I haven't had this particular conversation yet that we're getting ready to. It's a unique
Nice.
niche that is starting to come alive. More and more people are finding out about
Yeah.
it. And it deals with a lot of stuff like housing issues that we deal with
Yeah.
in America. There's all kind of factors that it solves. And I'm really pumped to dig into it because there's a good side and there's this other side to it you need to pay attention to. And I'm
Yeah.
pumped you're going to kind of pull that sheet back for them. So for
Yeah.
folks that are listening in who aren't quite familiar with you yet, tell us a little more about yourself and what your main focus is right now.
Yeah, my main focus is all on co-living real estate investing. And if someone doesn't know what that is, it's really it's a model where you take a single family home and instead of renting it out to a whole family, you convert it to a room rental type property. And it does exactly what you just shared. It helps solve affordable housing. There's nuance to it. I think we'll talk about a few of those that you have to understand. Otherwise, it can be hell. But if it's done correctly, it's really one of the biggest investments that I've seen in a long time that I feel like is truly a win-win. You win as the
Love
investor, you're getting more cash flow, and the people that are renting them get a more affordable place to stay that's clean, that's quiet, and that's safe.
Love that, man. And it's one thing I enjoy about real estate is how often you can create those win-wins. There are ways in this
Yes.
industry where all sides move together in a upward rising direction, man. And it's powerful. So take us back. What led you to where you are today? How'd you end up getting into this co-living space?
I bought a property in 2011 that was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath property right outside of University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Okay.
And I didn't think much of it. I just lived in one room and I was single at the time. I was building a complete other business in the martial arts space at the time. And I just started renting out rooms. And it was really a kind of a combination of three things. I realized I was renting out rooms. I realized I was living for cheap because these housemates were helping me pay my mortgage. Two, I realized I was providing like cheap housing to people who actually needed cheap housing, right? Because I was
Mhm.
renting a room and they were living in it and it was half the price of a studio apartment in the city. And the third thing is I realized I was having fun. I realized I had built in community in my house. And that this like experience of living with housemates was so profound for me. I lived in co-living houses from that age. I mean, I was 19, 20 at the time. Yeah, I guess I'd been living them before that, but overall I lived in co-living houses for 14 years.
Wow.
And it was a really beautiful experience. And so when I met my wife, I had 6 roommates and she was like, what the heck is going on here? Like if we're going to get married, like this can't work. But it was a really fun, cool experience. And so I'm so bullish on this model because, you know, the Surgeon General recently came out of the United States and said that it's 60% of young adults report serious and chronic loneliness. And then they went on to say that the health effects of that are equal to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. So
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
we have a loneliness challenge that nobody's really talking about. Everybody knows we have an affordable housing challenge. Everybody knows we have a
Right.
homeless problem. There's 750,000 people tonight that will be homeless in America. That's about the city. If that were a city, that's the city of the size of Charlotte, North Carolina, approximately. And so we have
Wow.
these issues, and I just think that co-living's like this beautiful way where we all remember to share again.
Mm.
We have to share a house. We're sharing common areas. We're sharing a kitchen, but to do it from a standpoint of an investor, it just solves really some of these big issues in a really powerful, cool way. That's why I love it.
Yeah, it's real estate's interesting because it's always a math problem and a people problem. You can never get away from
Mm,
it. There's the math problem part where, is this actually investment? Can we make it turn? And then there's that people part of the problem you're actually solving, whether it's a distressed homeowner, you're solving that problem in their world. And now what I love that you're talking about here is it's really how important home is and the byproducts of the affordable housing crisis and the byproducts of the housing crisis limits in general. We're
yeah,
looking at their real effects on the human. Okay,
right,
when the economy does this, the human being does this, and they're
right,
not the
right.
same thing, right? It's
Yeah.
like we can't optimize ourselves to complete efficiency. That's what capitalism does. It optimizes to efficiency, but humans aren't that way. We can't do that to
That's
ourselves everywhere,
right.
or we get wrecked. That's not how we function the
So well
best.
said.
And it's creating that space where I love the fact of that community because it's the same. Okay, you go live in a dorm
Yeah.
room. We don't think anything about it. You go live in these other areas. It's
Yes.
like, oh, it's just for college. But now you're saying, wait a second, maybe not. Maybe not. That's where
Right.
not that doesn't belong because people are staying single longer,
Yeah.
right? All kinds of different things are happening longer and they just need
Yeah.
a place, right? Where can they get access? And when you can, man, you solve loneliness, which is a huge one, especially in our day and age. The phones
Yes.
disconnected us. I just turned 40 recently. I remember life without a cell
Happy
phone.
birthday. Yeah.
I remember that change, and all of a sudden I had this chain someone could find me on all the freaking time. And it's only grown from there. And it disconnected us in a way. But the folks you
Did.
live with, that dude, I love that. I love
We
that
need to bring
mission
back
that's
yeah,
there
we need
because
to
it
bring back family compounds. Like, I think we
right.
do. Like, I agree, like, late and there's a difference between early stage capitalism and late and, like, we are in a later stage of capitalism where things have been so optimized and everything is so that it is not that system doesn't work for everybody anymore,
Mm,
right? And I think you're totally right. We forget about some of these human needs. It's one of the reasons, Mike, I moved to Colombia. I'm living in Colombia, South America right now. I know it's not really an American thing to say. I'm kind of dead, and it's not. I don't hate the United States. I love the United States. It's provided
right.
so much for me and my family. But I needed, and I know this is why you live in where you live. It's like I needed a slower pace. I needed something a little bit more human, right? And you're right. Capitalism it optimizes for efficiency, for profit, and for production. So
Right.
sometimes when I go back to the States, if I'm being totally honest, I feel like I'm back in that hamster wheel again. I feel like I'm back in that grind. I see my friends have 3 jobs to help make ends meet. Another stat I recently read, because I'm doing a TEDx talk on this recently, is that 2/3 of working age renters do not have enough money to pay rent, do not have enough money to pay rent and whatever, and the rest of life, like basic needs. So
Right.
picture 3 friends who rent, 2 of them, if they're in this working age, uh, 2 of them are deciding after rent day what doesn't get paid. Is it going to be healthcare? Are we going to skip out on vacation? Are we going to do this? What doesn't get paid? And they're doing it quietly, And so that's a little bit of where America is right now for anybody that's in one of these big cities and, obviously the more rural areas, which I know some people are moving there, a little bit different, but I think we need to optimize for sharing. I think we need to optimize for being human again. And some of these countries that haven't had the success of the United States are a little bit more optimized for fun and pleasure and enjoyment of life and
Right.
slower paced.
Right.
which I'm really enjoying in this stage of my life right now.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Well, it balances that out. Like, it
Yeah.
got thrown into this cute term of work-life balance, and that got blown out into something, but it's
Yeah.
more about human balance. One of the coaches I've worked with, and he's worked with some high-level folks the world knows, but what he preaches is calm is the optimum state for high-level athletes or entrepreneurs. There are
Mm,
2 stages you live in. One is called implementation, the other is receivership. If you don't know how to sit down and be still, you're never gonna get where you're going. If you cannot literally rest, because high-level athletes, you gotta rest, man. You can't push your body every day for
yeah.
years and years and years, and this guy was an Olympian. So to hear the best say, "Slow down." He
Yeah.
says the greatest word in a champion's vocabulary is restraint. They don't take the
Mm,
field until they're ready. And it's so counterintuitive of what we all came out of the gate with this idea that you got to hustle forever and don't stop. And we watched our
yes.
parents, it take longer and longer
Yes.
and longer.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it sets in of, man, what are we doing? Like, what are we really actually doing
Yeah.
here? And then getting to
Yeah.
work with someone like that showed me, hey, wait a second, adjust that lifestyle. Get good at being human. That's my goal, right? You want to be a good
I
human
love
being?
that.
Get good at being human. There's a skill set to it. And we don't operate well alone.
Yeah.
That is the number
That's
one
exactly
thing.
right.
And we're one of the only species in the world that can work in groups larger than 200. And that little
Wow.
fact right there is why we've created the societies we have. Every
Wow.
other primate species breaks down. They have to create a new
Wow.
troop. And there was a Harvard debate captain. He used to open every debate this way: I'm going to begin with saying that we all have far more in common than we do different, and then would present his arguments. And I loved it because when you get there, now you're looking at the world from a helpful way.
Yeah.
When you solve those problems, and I look at co-living from that space, and I spent a little time homeless with a couch to live on, and nothing but other
Yeah.
people let me stay with them in my early 20s. I know how important home feels, the
Yes.
security to it, the safety to it. It's a lot. It means a lot,
Yes.
especially early on. I mean, all the time for sure, but early on, man. So that
And
mission is powerful.
people are waking up to this, and to bring this back around to co-living, people are waking up to this, and this is kind of what co-living addresses. Why I think it's becoming more popular now. It's like, okay, I can live with other people, and that can actually be a good experience. And then you have people being willing to open their homes and share their homes because they have, they have empty rooms. We have enough rooms. There's 32 million extra and unused bedrooms in the United States. That's an estimate. Obviously, I haven't counted all of them, but a lot of the stats, that's like we're somewhere between 30 and 32 million. Well, like that's enough to solve our homelessness issue. That's enough to solve our housing issue, and they're extra and they're unused. And so this idea of bringing sharing back, bringing community back, and like just the idea of renting a room is less costly than renting anything else in any city. That's just the truth. And it can still be a
Right.
clean and a quiet and a safe room. A lot of these rooms have private bathrooms, so you can still have your space. But now imagine spending half of what you would normally spend on housing, which is normally people's largest expense. Guess what you get to do? You get to spend the rest of that money on being, like you're saying, you get to spend it on being human. You get to go take your
Right.
friends out. You get to go travel. You get to go enjoy life. And I think so. I do think there's this catchy, at least definitely I think in our generation, there's people that are like, wait. I don't want to do what my parents did and just grind for 56. I mean, my parents have been grinding for 45, 50 years now, and they're still going.
Right.
They're.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. And so, okay, what is a more human way to live that's a little bit more enjoyable? And some of these other cultures, this is why it's great I think always encourage people to travel outside of the States. Because you travel outside the States, you realize two things. Number one, not all cultures prioritize the hustle that Americans do. And number
Agree.
two, co-living is extremely popular every single other culture but the United States. Very popular
Right.
in South America, very popular in Asia, extremely popular in Europe. Actually, when I first was on a big podcast a couple years back talking about co-living. Some guy called me from Berlin, He's like, Sam, you're talking about this like it's new. He's like, in Berlin, Germany, it's so expensive to live here.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
No millennials even think about owning or renting a whole place. Like it doesn't even enter their mind. They all rent a room. And he goes on to tell me how he's building these co-living buildings from the ground up, and they have whole building codes dedicated to co-living. So it's, getting out of that bubble and realizing there's other ways to live that are more human. More,
Right.
I'm using that term. I like kind of like that term that you mentioned. It's like more human, more sharing, more connected, more in touch with other people, less, oh, I have to make all this money to survive in this way. I think is really what I'm starting to see with a lot of my friends and kind of in the groups that I'm in.
And it's only going to take fire more because of being able to work wherever you want. Virtual work, because we used to meet, like, look, y'all, work is the replacement of high school in more ways than one after we get out. But where we meet all our friends, where we spend all our time.
Right,
Where do you meet your
right.
friends? Where you spend all your time. But when you're spending all your time at home alone, working, doing your thing, you don't really go out much. All of a sudden, next thing you know, you're out. And like you're saying, you're alone. You're in that environment where what you're talking about here, again, it solves that. It puts you in a place where you're building a community on purpose. And if it's run well by good operators, that's where the safety factors come in. That's where this can actually be a really beneficial thing for you, because you have no idea the relationships it's going to create, right? If we're going to constantly say you are the 5 people you surround yourself with, well, what ways can you surround yourself with good people?
Yeah.
Again, you're solving those kind of problems. And you're right, man. America, we get behind the ball on some things where we think of something, oh, it's new, but it's not. A lot of folks been
Yeah.
doing it a long time. And you mentioned this earlier, bringing the family compounds back and things like that. And that's a big subject that still ties around this. What we're
It's a
experiencing, there's
version
a
of it. Yeah.
historian I love listening to, and she talks about the late 70s, early 80s, this idea of rugged individualism swept America. Like the
Mm,
cowboy mentality. You're your own thing. You don't need
yeah.
anybody. We don't need the government for nothing. Like this whole concept swept. And we were raised by parents who were really bought into this idea,
Mm,
but it's not real at all. There's no, like, we can't do
yeah.
anything big alone, right? We just
Yeah.
can't. If you want roads, like you want to get
Yeah.
around and
Yeah.
stuff, like this
Yeah.
idea of rugged individualism has just drove us to a point
Mm,
where we lost that ability to connect, where now
wow.
that's where our generation has realized you don't do this on your own. And there's
Wow.
no threat to working with people doing the same thing. They're not my competition. That's what I love about real estate, is how much abundance mindset exists, because
Yes.
all you got to do
Yes.
is show up. If you're going to put in the reps, you'll get your deals. I ain't worried about you. Don't be
Yes.
worried about me. Okay. I'm not taking yours, not taking mine. Are you going to show up? Because I'm going to show up. Like that's the thing, right? That's what creates it. So as long as you're
Beautiful.
doing the actions, man, there's plenty for all of us to go around.
It's beautiful.
And starting to curb society that way, where I'm trying to convince my in-laws and people to build a family compound. I'm very big on that.
That's
Families
cool.
didn't, like, if you study a history, families didn't break up. And you can fly wherever you want. I get it. I'm okay with people moving away. But when hard times hit, the reason why they didn't move away is because now you have support.
That's right.
You only fall off a curb, not a canyon. And that's something we experience
Mm,
constantly, where
wow.
when you're alone and hard hits, like it's always going to hit, there could be a position in your life where it's not necessarily your fault, but it hits and you
Right.
fall a long way simply because you're alone. I didn't have this, I didn't have that. So I
Wow.
love it, man. I know we kind of wandered around in there, but
No,
it
I
ties
love
with so many things.
a lot of times when I get on the podcast or whatever, and I'll talk about co-living, people are going right to the money. Okay, how much more money does this make? How much? Talk about it from the investor standpoint. Okay, you can triple your cash flow, you can quadruple your cash flow. All of that is true. A home can make you 1,000, 2,000. One of my students just launched a home that does $3,000 net. One home, one simple home, like not even a really expensive home, because he's. But anyway, I'm saying all that, but I love that this conversation is more followed. Like, what does co-living solve from a social standpoint? Because the truth is, like, that's why it's taking off. It's not just taking off because it makes more money. It's taking off because people are now willing to live in these homes. Like, that's the
Right.
truth. So
Right.
the investor side is almost a byproduct of these things of these issues we're talking about. Okay. People are now more open than ever to live with other people, right? Whereas the American dream for years and years and years and years was like my own home, white picket fence, nobody in
Right.
there, locked, big house, locked gate, gated communities, even better. More isolation is better.
Right.
And we're kind of making this full circle of like, nah, let's bring some togetherness to this, and let's bring some like let's live a little cheaper. Let's experience life a little bit more and not spend all of it on this box.
Right.
That traditionally in America has been a huge status symbol. That's why we've all gone after like buying our own home, and the bigger the better, and the more prestigious the neighborhood the better. So yeah, man, I think this is brilliant. I hope people listening to this are really taking away like this is a model that the more people invest in it. So if there's investors listening to this, and they want to get into it and they want to invest in it, they're helping solve more social issues, and that's why I think that's the number one reason I think people should invest in it, not because of the money.
I love that, man. Well, I say this a lot of times on the show. There are a lot of things that'll pay your financial paycheck, but you can do them
Yeah,
long enough and they'll drive you crazy. But there are
right.
some things that'll pay your emotional paycheck. And when you can
Yeah,
line up one pays your emotional paycheck and your financial
love
paycheck,
it.
now you're living right. That's getting good at being human. Now you're
That's
actually
awesome.
solving that. And it's one of the
Yeah,
reasons on this show I like to focus on the side you talked about, because here's the reality of real estate investing. If you don't actually care, it won't work. That's the secret. You got to
right.
care. You got to actually care about some part of it. And
Mm,
especially when you start drifting through niches, because we talked about it. You used to be an Airbnb. At first you cared,
yeah,
and now you don't care. And now you don't service that customer because they won't get the experience they need because you
that's
won't
right.
care. You could have hired somebody that did care or pivot, up to you. Like which
Right,
one?
right.
And that's where if you're listening to this out there, watching this, and what is we're talking about, like hits that button for you, and you're interested in how much money that can make, like Sam, like you've said, you can go find another podcast where Sam has explained that clearly.
Yeah,
Other than that, Sam, what's a good way for somebody to find you to dig in more on this? I know you got your education stuff. You got a lot going on around this arena. How can someone
yeah.
get plugged in?
Yeah, my mission is to teach through me and my students to hit 1,000,000 rooms. We're 7.3 million affordable housing units short, and 1,000,000 feels like a dent in that. It's not everything, but
Mm,
it's a dent. We're 2,500, so we're a little ways away. So we need some help. We need some massive help. We're just getting started, though. We're just getting started. Um, so yeah, if anything about this sparks some interest in you, I do an educational, I call it a 5-day challenge. It's live, it's free, it's 5 days where I pull, and it's not a big sales pitch. It is truly, we do live Q&A. We answer every question on there. We pull back how to find these properties, how to fund them, how to keep them clean, quiet, and safe, how to manage them, because they do. They have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people sharing one home. It's the model. It's a shared housing model. So if you're interested and you want to deep dive into it, go to scaleyourrealestate.com, www.scaleyourrealestate.com, and just register, get on the waiting list for the next challenge that we have. We do them a few times a year. So yeah, thank you.
excellent. Thank you for sharing that. If you're listening, watching in, check the show notes. You'll find all Sam's links there. Like you hear me say constantly on here, it's not random folks we're talking to. These are professionals in their field that are living, eating, and breathing what they're talking about, because that's
Yeah,
who you go
every day.
learn from. You don't learn from people that used to do it or want to do it or did a deal and now think they can sell a course better than do real estate. No, it's folks that are living it, eating it, breathing it, track records of success, because your success matters. You can be successful in this industry. It is for anybody that's willing to get in, do the work, ask the questions. And hopefully, like you learned today, there are niches out there, just like co-living, especially this one, where you can really make that difference too. So
That's right.
check on or click that link, get into that class, learn if this really hits with you. Sam, again, thanks for being here today, man. I really appreciate your time. I think we need more folks out there like yourself doing it the way you do it,
Thank
man.
you, brother. You too. Right back at you, brother. I can sense your heart is in this for the right reasons, and I love that, man. It's great to connect with you. Thanks for the
I
opportunity.
appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I just like humans. I think our best times are ahead. Like it's
Yeah, let's go.
if we all start doing this on purpose, we're gonna get somewhere. And I think that's what I get excited about. Like I've never seen more humans growing at one time on purpose, and that has if
Yeah,
that doesn't stop, time works its magic, and we got some really, really cool times ahead. So I get pumped, man. But thank
love
you
it, brother.
everybody out there for joining in with us too. Hey, if you got value out of today's episode, please like this episode, share it with someone else you think could get value out of it. And if you're not a subscriber yet, you know what to do. Click that button, follow along with us. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Sam. People out there building real businesses in the industry that also make a difference. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.